Hi class, we continue with lesson 4. We continue with Surds. This is the fourth class for Surds. Alright, so we want to simplify 5 problems here without wasting time. The first one says root 3 multiplied by 2 root 3 minus 4. Root 3 multiplied by this. So the fact that between root 3 and the bracket, we don't see anything here, that implies a multiplication. But this multiplication means this one has to multiply every value we have in a bracket. So when you want to multiply a surd and another surd, we have numbers outside the surd. For example, if we have root 5, this simply means 1 root 5. In fact, 3 root 5, it's obvious that there is 3. But once we don't see anything here, it means 1. So multiplying two numbers, let's say we want to multiply root 5 and 3 root 5. So to do this, the ones outside, they are the ones we multiply first. Then later we go to the ones inside, meaning the irrational part. They are the actual surds. So here is 1 times 3, those outside. 1 times 3 is 3. Then root 5 times root 5. Remember where we started multiplication of surds. When you are multiplying surds of the same irrational parts, meaning if the inner parts are the same, just take one of the inner parts. So root 5 times root 5 is just 5. But we don't just write it like this because between 1 and root 5, there is a multiplication. Between 3 and root 5, there is a multiplication. So if we say 1 times 3 is 3, root 5 times root 5 is 5, this is 35. And we've disobeyed the fact that between 1 and root 5, there is a multiplication. Between 3 and root 5, there is a multiplication. So therefore, there must be a multiplication. But I always advise my students to apply this format of multiplying. Because sometimes when you are multiplying a single number and an expression, students will tend to use this one. And mostly they get it wrong. So therefore, 3 times 5 is 15. So if you use your calculator now and try to multiply root 5 times 3 root 5, it will give you 15. All right. So let's come to the 5th problem. So we don't take much of the time. All right. So we say this root 3 will multiply this. So trying to multiply this and this, let's start with what we have outside. Outside here is 1, outside here is 2. So 1 times 2 is 2. Now let's go to the inner part we call the irrational part. Root 3 times root 3, it's just 3, but we multiply. Do not forget this. So we are done with this and this. Now this and this one. But first of all, plus times minus is minus. What we have outside is 1. What we have outside is 4. So 1 times 4 is 4. This one has a surd. This one does not have a surd. So there is no option. We write the only available surd, which is root 3. So I hope it is clear. So now 2 times 3 is 6 minus 4 root 3. So this is what we have. Now we come to this again. What we have outside is supposed to multiply everything inside the bracket, but we start with this. 3 is not a surd. 1 is not a surd. They are outside. They are the ones we multiply first. 3 times 1 is 3. This one comes with a surd, which is root 2. This one does not come with a surd. So we write the only available surd, which is root 2. Now it is time to multiply this and this one here. We start with what we have outside. 3 times 5. Okay, first of all, plus by minus is minus. 3 times 5, 15. Now root 2 times root 2 is just 2. You see it now? So we say 3 root 2 minus 15 times 2 is 30. So this is what we have. We come to this one again. This one is to multiply this one first before we think of the second one. Let's start with what we have outside. Minus 4 outside, minus 1 outside. So minus 4 times minus 1 is just 4. No, negative 4 multiplied by negative 1 is positive 4. Okay, now those we have in the roots, the irrational part. Root 5 times root 5 is just 5. So you see this one. So now this and this one here. Minus times minus is plus. 4 is not in the root. 2 is not in a root. So 4 times 2 is 8. This one does not have a sword attached to it. This one has, so there is no option. The one that is available survives. So we say root 5. 4 by 5 is 20 plus 8 root 5. This is how we expand surds. Okay, now one term outside multiplying a bracket, one term outside multiplying a whole bracket, one term outside multiplying a whole bracket. Now a bracket multiplying a bracket. So what we do is this one's supposed to multiply everything here. So we say 4 multiply this bracket, which is root 3 plus 5. We are done with 4. Now this again minus root 3, it's also supposed to multiply the same second bracket, root 5 plus 5, root 3, sorry. If only you can expand this one here, that means you can do the same. It's just the same. Whatsoever technique that you use to expand this is the same technique. The only thing is when you are multiplying surds, you don't forget to acknowledge the principles that involve. Okay, now this one becomes what we did here. 4 to multiply this, 4 to multiply this. So 4 times 1 outside is 4. This does not have a sword. This is a sword, so we write this one. So 4 times root 3 is 4 root 3. Just like you say, 5 times x, 5x. 4 times root 3, 5 root 3. So 4 times 5, of course, this is 20. So minus root 3 to multiply this, But we start with this. Minus times plus here is minus. Root 3 times root 3 is just 3. I know you are thinking of saying root 9, yes, but the square root of 9 is 3. So no need to waste our time. Minus times plus is minus. Root 3 times 5. A known sword and a sword, multiplying them, just put them together. Root 3 times 5 is 5 root 3. So we simplify where necessary. So this is 4 root 3. It's a sword. And it's a like sword with this one. Minus 5 root 3. How do we know that this and this they are like swords? Is it by what they have outside? No, but what they have inside, the irrational part. So plus 20 minus 3 is plus 17. So plus 4 minus 5 is minus 1. If you have 4x minus 5x, you can say minus 1x. Though it is not necessary to write 1. If you have 4x minus 5y, we leave it like this because they are unlike terms. We don't subtract them. Even if it's like addition, they are unlike terms. We don't add them. So root 3, that makes them like swords. That makes them similar swords. We can add them. We can subtract them. So 4 minus 5 is minus 1. So meaning 4 root 3 minus 5 root 3 is minus 1 root 3. But the same thing applies in swords. For 1, we always ignore it as we usually do for algebraic processes. So here is plus 17. Write it this way, no problem. But mathematics, most times, we always wish the beginning to be positive if there is a way. So meaning we can say 17 minus root 3. But that doesn't mean that this one is wrong. It is perfectly okay. We come to this one. The same thing we did here. This one multiplies everything here. So we can say 2 root 3 multiplying this bracket, which is root 3 plus 4. All right, we've demonstrated that this one has to multiply this bracket. So the next thing is this one again has to multiply the same bracket, which is minus 4 multiplied by root 3 plus 4. I hope it is clear. All right, so this is now is what we did here. This is also what we did here. So if this one is to multiply this and this, but to start with, this is multiplying this. Outside is 2, outside is 1. So 2 times 1 is 2. Root 3 times root 3 is 3. Do not forget. All right. So now this and this. 2 times 4 is 8. Remember, plus by plus is plus. No root, but there is a root. So we write this one, root 3. All right. So we come to this again. Minus 4 to multiply this and also multiply this. Minus 4 times root 3 is minus 4 root 3. Minus 4 times plus 4 is minus 16. So 2 by 3 is 6. Are these like sorts or similar sorts? Yes, because root 3, root 3. So once they are like sorts, we can add them, we can subtract them. So plus 8 minus 4 is plus 4. So plus 4 root 3 minus 16. 6 minus 16 will give us negative. So let's start by writing first the surd. But it doesn't mean that if the beginning is negative, it is wrong. It is never wrong. So we say 4 root 3, 6 minus 16 minus 10. All right, so this is lesson 4. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to follow, like, share, and comment. Also subscribe to the YouTube channel. See you in my next video.